Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Saturday, 28th February. I'm your host, Daniel, and today we're going to do a bit of a weekend special on Operation Epic Fury, the US Israeli strike campaign against Iran that kicked off this morning. Just for future reference, the information cutoff date for this report was 09:15 GMT. So the information is good up until then. So firstly, earlier this morning, Israel announced that it is launching preemptive strikes on Iran as talks begin between the Islamic Republic and the US over the former's nuclear arsenal basically failed. This was quickly backed up by the US, where Trump, also said that they are going to be conducting strikes. The Israeli strikes were targeting or are targeting the regime and military sites, they told a public broadcasting citing Israeli officials. The Associated Press news agency reported that the first apparent strikes appeared near the offices of the Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, and it wasn't immediately clear if he was injured or in the offices. It hasn't been seen publicly in days as tensions grew with the US. An Israeli official told the AP that the Israeli campaign is going to target Iran's military, symbols of government, and intelligence targets. So a bit of a first map that's come out. Apparently this isn't all the sites that have been struck, but this is some of them. So like Isfahan, that's related to nuclear stuff. And then there's some down on the ports. It was reported that the US attempted to did target naval infrastructure and naval ships as part of these first wave of strikes, likely, I will get into the assessment later, but likely to stop any cutoff of the Strait of Hormuz. It was also reported that the commander-in-chief of the Iranian army was reportedly killed in Tehran early on in the campaign. The first round of strikes reportedly attempted to assassinate high-level leadership, including the president, Khamenei, and this guy, with only this guy being the only CAS reported. As part of this, Trump gave a big speech. It was about 8 minutes that he posted across social media, the first snippet of which I put on my page, but in it, he calls for the Iranian people to rise up and try and overthrow their government. This, as we'll get into, appears to be the main goal of this strike campaign. There was also photos and imagery of texts that were allegedly sent to Iranian dissidents throughout the country telling them that this is their time and to rise up and take their country back. It was reported that the Iranian president was safe and sound, as state media reported, following the US and Israeli strikes targeting him. While he's responsible for the day-to-day governance of the country, he does not represent the ultimate power in the country, where that lies with Ayatollah Khamenei, who was also attempted to target with, I've posted a video of it, but they blew up his residence in Tehran. Following this, unsurprisingly, Iran launched ballistic missiles back towards Israel, with interceptions happening around about an hour ago. So far, there's only one reported strike that landed outside of Tel Aviv in another town that I'm currently mind-blanking on. However, one successful strike did land in the US military base in Bahrain. This happened literally moments before I started recording, so currently there's no reports on casualties or the fallout of the strike. So what? So most likely that this is a short-term strike campaign targeting regime, as we talked about, with the goal of it leading to a revolution. This seems to be the overall goal of this campaign, is to try and remove the Iranian leadership and install a new government, likely under the leadership of the former Shah's son. It seems highly likely there's going to be any ground operations due to any lack of troop buildups in the region. There's essentially not enough troops in the region from the US to commit to any kind of ground operations. There's a slight possibility of special forces operations, but these would likely be limited, as there would be limited to no support that could come in to help them. Iran will almost certainly target Israel. They're already doing this, but they're almost certainly going to continue to do it to try and overwhelm Israel's air defense and conduct strikes within civilian infrastructure and military infrastructure in Israel. This is basically the status quo for these kinds of operations. And it's possible they'll attempt to cut off the Strait of Hormuz. As I stated earlier, part of the US opening campaign did target naval infrastructure, and I think it's likely that this was to try and avoid any disruption within the Straits of Hormuz, where significant amount of oil flows through. So yeah, I now assess that eliminating key Iranian leadership will be difficult without the element of surprise. It's almost certain they've been moved to much more secure locations that are within hardened infrastructure and would likely take significant ordnance to destroy, though the US does have these ordnance, and it's possible they'll attempt to use it on these positions. Um, yeah, just following the strikes in Bahrain, any US military casualties could lead to an escalation. As I talked about in my video over on the main channel last weekend, that this is the biggest risk here, is like an escalation ladder where you essentially can't get away from it. Neither side can claim victory or like walk away with this with their unscathed, essentially. So we just continue to escalate until we get into full-scale conflict. But yeah, it's pretty early on in this conflict, so we'll have to keep an eye out, and I'll probably be back here later today or early tomorrow to give another update brief. But anyway, keep following on Telegram, Twitter, and over on Instagram in the channel. Is that what we call it? In the channel, and I'll keep posting updates as much as I can. Have a nice weekend and stay safe, everybody. See you.